Good morning and welcome back to class. I am recording this on a very rainy Thursday morning, but at least it is not minus whatever the heck it's been for the last couple of days of freezing cold weather. Hope everyone is doing okay. In today's assignment, we are going to jump right into Google Sheets. And where Google Documents, that's pretty basic. You're just typing like Microsoft Word. Google Forms that we just did, a very powerful tool, but works pretty simply. You type in the questions, people give you answers. But spreadsheets, those are very complex. You can do so many things with spreadsheets. I'm not going to try to overwhelm you with all of it today. I'm just going to give you a lot of resources, and you can pick and choose what you think will be helpful for you, depending on your current comfort level with spreadsheets. I know some of you in the outreach program, you use very complex spreadsheets that you create for behavior data tracking. You're comfortable with charts and formulas and functions, and that's pretty awesome. For some folks, you maybe use just a few simple spreadsheets for tracking some student data here in the program. So each person's at a different place, and I'm going to try to give some resources that will work for all of you. And for the first time, I'm just going to kind of walk you through a quick slideshow because it's a great way for me to organize my thoughts and make sure that I don't overlook something for you. So first, we're going to talk about getting your data into Google Sheets because most of you are probably working with Excel at the moment. The obvious way is to create your own new spreadsheet. You can do that with a blank spreadsheet inside Sheets, or Google provides you with a lot of templates that you can use if some of those will be a good starter point for you. But if you've already got a lot of information, you can just import it. If it's an Excel spreadsheet, you can just drag it right into Sheets, or you can use the import function. You can also import from a CSV file, even a tab delineated file if you have those, and it will put your data right into Sheets. Now, I'm not going to lie. If you are working for outreach and you've got a really complicated workbook with numerous sheets and numerous charts and graphs, it won't all format the way you hope it will. There will be some glitches that you'll have to go in and clean up a little bit, particularly around some of the charts that you may have. But if you are starting fresh, building a new sheet at the beginning of the year, or starting with a new marking period, a quarter or a semester, or however you may be tabulating your student progress, then maybe it's a time to build that sheet in Google Sheets. I will say that when you drag an Excel spreadsheet into Google Sheets, it's going to bring it in, you can open it, and you can look at it. You can't edit it. It's not going to let you do it that way. So you're going to want to make one change. So I'm going to come up here and click on my Google Drive. And these are the documents in my Google Drive at the moment. Lots of dentist pictures in there from our last activity. I'm going to come up here and click on my settings. And the setting that I want to make sure is active is this checkbox right here. Convert uploaded files to Google Docs editor format. That way, if you upload an Excel spreadsheet, it will convert it to a Google Sheet so that you can do the edits for it. You can always download it back to your computer as an Excel sheet, and Google will convert it back to Excel, so you're not losing that functionality, but it just makes it easier to work with inside Sheets. Another way to get data in, if you are comfortable with different functions, is some of the import functions, whether you're importing data, importing a data range, importing various XML or tab delineated or Atom XML feeds. If you're comfortable doing these things, those functions are there in Sheets. If you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, then forget I ever mentioned this because you probably won't use those functions. And of course, last activity we talked about Google Forms as a way to bring data in. Those Google Forms will take that data and put it right into a spreadsheet for you. If you haven't had a chance to view that, I will click here. Here's the short spreadsheet or short form, the questions that I sent out to you last class. Some of you filled those out for me. I can click on the responses, and if I click on the little green icon, I can view those responses in Sheets. I've already clicked. It takes a second for it to create the spreadsheet, but there you go. Each row on the spreadsheet is someone's answer to my questions. Now, it looks a little odd having my questions run all over the place. I can quickly solve that problem. I can do some text wrapping. That brings those into line. It looks a little funny to me having them pushed down to the bottom, so let's move them up to the middle. Let's make my column headings bold. Now I'm ready to do some work. I can take that same row and say, let's add some filters. And now you'll see that each heading has a little icon beside it. That means I can sort by, have you added extensions that you like to your browser? Well, everybody put yes, so nothing to sort there. But I've got some yeses and nos in my YouTube playlist. I can sort, so I can bring the nos to the top and see who hasn't done that yet. Maybe it's just because it's not appropriate for your class or your activity, but it's a great way to go through and sort. I can turn off the nos and say, I just want to see the yeses under column C. I can see just those two. So a great way to quickly get data in from the forums, organize it, start to analyze it a little bit. So working with forms is a great way to get data into Sheets. Once your data is in there, you want to sort of prepare it for how are you going to use it. Sheets has a lot of cool functions. You can group columns, you can group rows, you can hide columns, you can hide rows. One of my favorite new features is checkboxes. I can take any column and just put in a row of checkboxes. Now I can just go through and click. It's a great way to check off who has completed a certain task, who has mastered a certain goal, which project has been completed. And once I've got a line there of some checks and some not checks, sorting by column A quickly lets me know who's mastered this skill, who has completed this task, which parent has returned this form, which staff person has filled out their pay sheet, their hours. This is a great function. It's new in Sheets, and it really is a quick way to organize things. Of course, you can do macros now. That was a feature that did not exist in Sheets for a while, but now it does. And you can set up macros just the same way that you did in Excel. And of course, like all the other tools in Google Docs, Google Sheets, whatever, you can always have add-ons. So you can always click your add-ons. There at the top right here, you can see here in Sheets there are add-ons, get add-ons. That same button will be there in Google Sheets or Google Docs or Google Forms. You can always get add-ons, and it will sort for you, and there will be all kinds of things you can bring in that will help your data get organized, help you, as it shows here, remove duplicates, merge things, find your outliers, change the styles for presentation, etc. So a lot of great ways to sort of organize your data. Now, once it's organized, how are we going to analyze it and look at it in ways that make sense? My favorite tool is pivot tables. This is the way to aggregate your data, and you can quickly change how you're looking at it. Are you looking at it by student total? Are you looking at it by different objectives? Are you looking at it by school district? Are you looking at it by teacher? How do you want to evaluate the data? You can quickly change that from one to another with pivot tables. Pardon that little glitch there. Had a student knocking on my office door. So anyway, pivot tables is a great thing that you can use to analyze your data, and we'll have a couple of resources on how to do those if you're not familiar with them. Another great tool is filters and filter views. Now these are two different things in Sheets. You use filters when you want to change how things are organized, sorting data, and then you want everyone that you share your sheet with to see the data in the way that you sorted it. Filter views lets me change data and only I see the changes. So even if someone else has that sheet open and they're making changes at the exact same time that I am, I can change how I see data and it doesn't change what they're doing. So I can sort by certain criteria, whether I want to bring all my yeses to the top or all the people who completed it in February to the top. I can change whatever view I want look at the data the way I want, and only I see that change. So there'll be a video that shows you how to do that as well. If you're comfortable with functions, Google continues to add more and more spreadsheet functions, as it shows here, more than 400 now. And they continue to add those updates. They continue to update charting features. There's always a lot of chart options for you. And make sure you click the Explore button. Here in Google Sheets, you can see the Explore option right down here in the lower right corner. It'll be in the same place with Google Sheets, Google Slides, Google Docs, whatever. You can click it. You can see in the slide here, someone has already clicked it, and it's showing them options. Would you like to see your data by a pivot table? Would you like to see a chart? What kind of questions would you like to answer? They're giving you different ways based on the data that you've got that you might want to analyze or view that data. That's a very helpful tool. Finally, sharing your data, distributing it to others, collaborating on it. Google certainly allows you to share those sheets just like you would any other Google Doc. You can share it with folks so that they can just see the data. You can give them access to edit the data, to add to the spreadsheet. So however you want to manage that, you can do that. And everyone gets to do it without having to attach a document to an email and send it to someone else. And now you have one copy of the spreadsheet. They have a copy of the spreadsheet. If they make a change on theirs, you don't see the change. All of that goes away in Google Sheets. Google Sheets also allows you to take your whole sheet or just a piece of a range of data and insert that into a Google Doc or a Google Slide for a presentation. So that's another way to share the information. A great way to sort of collaborate is that Google allows you to comment. You can click on any cell and add a comment. Other people can see that comment. They can respond to that comment. So that works great for everyone. Remember, with all your Google items, you have a version history. So if someone makes a change that seems to throw things out of whack or it's a mistake, you can always back up to the previous version. Those are always saved for you. You can name certain versions because ultimately a sheet that has lots of changes might have, let's say you've gone in and edited that sheet 50 times in the course of the year, adding data each week. At the end of the year, you've got 100 versions. That gets a little crazy to scroll back through. So periodically, you may want to pick a version that you know, like, this is where we were at the end of March 31st, the end of this quarter. You can name that version so that you can always go back and find it. And then you can tell Google, just show me the named versions. And maybe you have one that summarizes by quarter or by month or whatever. And as a part of that version history, now there's an activity dashboard. If you're sharing with other people, you can see who has viewed the file when they viewed it. You can also pull down your Tools menu, look at the notification rules, and you can say, this sheet that I've shared with people, I've shared this sheet with Greg. If Greg jumps in and makes a change, send me an email to let me know so that I know people are working on the sheet and they're updating that sheet. And finally, this helps keep our data safe and secure simply because we're not constantly attaching things and sending them off to people so that now there's spreadsheets floating around everywhere. You've got that sheet. It's in your Google Drive. It stays in your Google Drive. Other people can see it and edit it without it having to go away. And you can really add to that protection by locking down so that others can't download it, they can't print it, they can't copy it. You can make sure they don't add other people to view it. You can really control how that item gets shared and managed. Finally, a way to help control that is, don't forget, you can set expirations anytime you share a document from your Google Drive. So you can share a document with a teacher or another clinician or whoever needs to see it, but maybe they only need to see it until PPT takes place. Once the PPT is over, you can have their view expire. You still got the sheet. They don't have access to it anymore. They've already written the PPT, and now we've moved on. We've got a new data sheet for the new year. You can control who sees what. So, just a quick overview to show you some of the power going on inside Google Sheets. Now, here's what's going to happen. When you look at your assignment, First, you're going to see the link to this video that you're watching right now, me talking to you. And then you're going to see a link to one Google Doc. And within that doc, you will see links to various video options, articles, whatever. So let me show you that right now. Here's the Google Sheets handout. This is what you're going to link to. And you will see that each item has a description underneath it. So this first one, Google Sheets Quick Start 13-minute video. That's Steve Dotto. It's an overview. He's going to tell you what A1 means, what B3 means, how to manage your rows and your columns and do a basic formula. If you don't know how to do that in Excel, you should watch this. But if you know how to do all that basic stuff, skip this one. You will be bored. Then from there on, look for things that might relate to a skill set that you want to acquire. Do you need to sync data in one spreadsheet to data in another spreadsheet? There's a 2-minute video. Do you want to do drop-down list and conditional formatting? Minute 45 video. So there are videos and articles all the way through that give you different ideas, different pointers. Now you're saying, what are the most important things? Here's what I would tell you to make sure you know how to do. Make sure you know how to do drop-down list and conditional formatting. Those are very basic tools, but they get used all the time in both Excel and Sheets. So you should know how to do this. It makes it really easy and quick to input data with drop-down lists and then to view your data with conditional formatting. If you need to take that drop-down list a little bit deeper and make it dependent on a variable, then you can look at the dependent drop-down list video, but you may not need that. So make sure you know drop-down list and conditional formatting. Make sure you know spark lines. Those are quick ways to view data progress. So make sure you know how to do spark lines. Let's see. I've already mentioned pivot tables. Make sure you know pivot tables. It's quick and easy. You'll want a longer video that you can find on your own or more information from me if you decide you really want to dive in deep on pivot tables. But this short video will get you there quickly. The video is going to start at about 1 minute and 30 seconds into it. It only runs for about 4 minutes. What else should you know? The difference between filters and filter views. So there are 2 videos on that. Make sure you at least watch the first one. The second one just gives a little more detail if you want. And then this last one. This one is for everyone. Read this article. And then at the end of the article, there is a challenge. That challenge is your homework. You're going to take their challenge, which is going to be making a copy of some of their data sheets into your drive, and they'll tell you how to do that. Then you're going to follow it's only like 4 or 5 steps to sort and filter data in a certain way. When you finish, share your sheet with me so I can see the results of what you've done. This last one, that's just there for anyone that wants it. This link takes you to a page online that has a bunch of other links, and they just link you to different tools within Google Sheets. So if you need to know how to modify rows, format your columns, format cells, work with complex formulas, understanding number formats, you can go there and there's links to all of those things. So all of that gets you through what I want you to see today. One final thing to mention. One article is going to mention flippity.net, and that's going to be this one right here, how to create a progress tracker. And flippity.net is a free website, and what it does is give you lots of little things that you can add into Google Sheets to give them more power. So they are going to have you use this Flippity Progress Indicator, which is a very cool thing. But you might find other things here that you might use, whether it's creating a badge tracker so you can see when students earn certain badges for progress. Maybe you want to have a certificate over here. Maybe this is just a tool that you want to share with teachers who are using Google in their classroom and say, hey, did you know about this? You can set up crossword puzzles and word searches and spelling words and all kinds of cool things. And that teacher is going to think, wow, you are amazing. And that's exactly what I want you to walk away with. Somebody thinking you're amazing. All right. I have talked for way too long, but Sheets is a complicated thing. There's a lot of information. I wanted to cover it all for you. Thanks for your patience. Enjoy watching some of those videos, the ones that relate to you. I look forward to seeing your homework. Bye for now.